Do you remember when the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce established the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I do. It was 1953, and E.M. Stewart was serving as the volunteer president of the Hollywood Chamber of Congress. He proposed the Walk of Fame as a means to maintain the glory of a community whose name means glamour and excitement in the four corners of the world. While no one really knows where the design of the Walk of Fame originally came from, it's suspected that inspiration might have been taken from the dining room of the Hollywood Hotel, which had stars painted on the ceiling with the names of celebrities. Either way, EM appointed a committee to start devising plans for the walk and hired the architectural firm of Pereira and Luckman to work on proposals to bring the project to life. It would take 2 years to lay the foundation for the project proposal. Only then was the Chamber of Commerce able to secure the signatures needed to present their idea to the city. These plans would not be formally submitted until January of 1956. The Los Angeles City Council liked the idea of the walk and had the Board of Public Works start preparing the engineering specifications for the project and establish the assessment district. As the logistics for the walk were underway, the committee started proposing designs for the stars. One of the proposed ideas was a star that included a caricature of the nominee that would be placed on blue and brown sidewalks. But it was determined that caricatures would be too difficult to produce, so that was turned down. As for the color scheme, apparently developer Charles E. Toberman thought that the blue and brown would clash with his latest build on Hollywood Boulevard. So it was changed to black and coral to complement the iconic Bank of America building that sits on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Highland Avenue. Of course, it looks a little bit different now. The Hollywood Improvement Association was established to work in conjunction with the city on the project. Harry Sugarman was selected to chair the association. He owned the Egyptian Theater, which was one of California's oldest theaters. With the establishment of the committee, work began selecting the first honorees for the walk. 4 committees were established to highlight the 4 pillars of the entertainment industry: motion picture, television, recording, and radio. They combed through submissions from May 1956 to the fall of 1957 and had some of the biggest names on the selection committee, from Cecil B. DeMille to Walt Disney to Samuel Goldwyn of MGM. It was this process that actually launched the creation of the Grammy Awards, when the recording committee realized that many accomplished members of the recording industry might never get a star and deserve to have their contributions and accomplishments recognized on a public scale. The cost to build the Walk of Fame was determined to be $1.25 million, which included new lighting and trees. That would be around $14 million today. It worked out to be around $85 per front foot to be paid by adjacent property owners, which is partly why the walk was delayed, as the property owners didn't appreciate the tax levy and filed a lawsuit challenging the legality of the tax assessment. It was ultimately deemed legal. Then, Charlie Chaplin's son, Charlie Jr., was mad that his father's nomination had been withdrawn and sued for damages, but his suit was dismissed and his father was ultimately inducted in 1972. The first 8 stars were unveiled at Hollywood and Highland on August 15, 1958, to help create excitement around the Walk of Fame. The initial 8 honorees were Olive Borden, Ronald Colman, Louise Fazenda, Preston Foster, Burt Lancaster, Edward Sedgwick, Ernest Torrance, and Joanne Woodward. It wouldn't be until February 8, 1960 that they would actually break ground on the walk, though. The very first star that was placed on the new walk was that of Stanley Kramer on March 28, 1960, near Hollywood and Gower. Once that first star was placed, they made decent headway and were able to dedicate the walk on November 23rd of that year, even though it wasn't yet complete. E.M. Stewart had the idea to plan the dedication alongside the Hollywood Christmas Parade and was appointed chair of the completion committee, seeing the project all the way through to the very end. They officially completed the project in spring of 1961 after placing 1,558 stars. The city realized that in order to fulfill the vision of the program and continue adding names on the Walk of Fame, they would have to have some sort of process in place. On May 18, 1962, the City of Los Angeles City Council approved an ordinance that specified that the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce would be in charge of advising the city regarding the matter of adding names to the walk. It would take several years for the Chamber of Commerce to establish a set of rules to determine the qualifications for honorees, to determine a procedure for processing submissions of potential honorees, and to figure out how the heck they were going to finance additional stars. It wouldn't be until December 11, 1968 that another star would be added to the walk. Danny Thomas hosted a star unveiling for producer Richard D. Zanuck in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater. This would launch the regular star ceremonies that we are familiar with today. In 1978, the Hollywood Walk of Fame was added as Los Angeles Historic Cultural Monument number 194. In 1980, entertainer Johnny Grant received his star, and he was so stoked about the opportunity that he threw himself a monumental star ceremony. The chamber invited him to chair the Walk of Fame committee due to his unwavering enthusiasm. Johnny helped turn the Walk of Fame into the international icon that it is today. He added live theater as a fifth category for honorees, and when it seemed like the boulevard had run out of room for stars in its most popular areas, Johnny was the one who devised adding a second row of alternating stars. He was also the one that instituted a fee of $2,500 to be paid for by the recipient to help with upkeep and minimize the burden on local businesses and taxpayers. He chaired the committee until his passing in January of 2008. On February 1st, 1994, the Walk of Fame was extended one block west to La Brea as part of a revitalization project. 30 stars were added, and Sophia Loren received the 2,000th star. The Walk of Fame currently spans the length of Hollywood Boulevard from Gower to La Brea and on Vine Street from Sunset to Yucca, and consists of 6 categories including sports entertainment, which was added in 2023. There are currently over 2,700 stars on the walk, and anyone can nominate their favorite entertainer, but it will cost you $250 just for the application. You must also have a letter of agreement from the nominee or their management that they do in fact want to have a star on the Walk of Fame. They must have at least 5 years of experience in their category, and you have to prove that they have a history of charitable and/or civic contributions. You also have to agree to pay the sponsorship fee if your nominee is selected, which means you'll be on the hook for a cool $75,000. See, they do buy their way in. No, there's a huge difference between greasing palms to win Best Picture, Nora, and having a sponsor or sponsors who have the cash to pay a fee that is the same for everyone. And yes, fans have raised funds to cover this fee in the past, like Liza Minnelli's fan club, who hosted movie nights and bake sales to cover the cost of her star, although the Hollywood Walk of Fame committee does not condone external fundraising or campaigning. A nomination stands for 2 years, and if the nominee is not selected, a new application must be submitted. If the nominee has passed away, you must wait 2 years after their death to submit a nomination. They do this to ensure that you actually want to honor them and that you're not just being sentimental. Only one posthumous award is given out a year, and the honoree's family or estate must consent to receiving the star. And if you want to nominate a duo or a group, that's even more intense. You must include all the names of the group members, both present and past, on the nomination form, and you have to provide proof of insurance naming the Hollywood Chamber and the City of LA as additionally insured. And this is all because of a previous issue with the past member of a group's wife suing because his name wasn't on the group's star, even though he hadn't been with the group for decades. She lost, but they're not interested in being put in that situation again, and I don't blame them. The committee meets every June to select between 24 to 30 names from around 200 applicants. Those names then go to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce's Board of Directors to vote on approval, and then the City of Los Angeles's Board of Public Works Department gets final say. And then they get put on the walk the following year. Once a nominee has been approved, the sponsorship fee must be paid to cover the creation and installation of the star as well as maintenance of the Walk of Fame. A portion of the money goes to the Hollywood Historic Trust for maintenance. This fee has obviously gone up quite a bit since its original implementation, but considering the current revitalization project is estimated to cost around $4 million to help revive the walk and replace broken stars, it makes sense. It's also usually paid by the nominating body, which is typically a major studio or production company. Like, we're not nominating your neighbor here unless they're a multi-Oscar winner. Not to mention the rise in cost of materials and the fact that some stars are vandalized more often than others, like the one for the person currently sitting in the Oval Office. It also covers a memorial bouquet upon the recipient's death, so you don't have to worry about that. The recipient of the award must also agree to show up to a ceremony within 2 years of approval of their nomination. This is known as the Springsteen Clause, as many moons ago a fan nominated Bruce, he was selected, and then Bruce declined. So the policy that you must include a signed agreement from your nominee with your application was implemented. You also can't pick where your star goes, but they do try to align its location in a way that's connected to the honoree, like putting families together, Kurt and Goldie, or putting stars near places that might personally align with them, like Phil Hartman's star, which was placed in front of the Hollywood Toy and Costume Shop, which was one of his favorite stores. You can receive more than one star, though. Gene Autry has the most stars with 5 in total. The stars themselves take around 4 days to make and are comprised of terrazzo and brass. And while much proofing is done, mistakes do happen, like when they misspelled Julia Louis-Dreyfus's name. She wanted to keep it, calling it her Seinfeld moment, but they fixed it before the ceremony and gave her the misspelled chunk for posterity. And that's it. That's the history of the Walk of Fame. It's a long one, I know. I hope you liked this one. If you did, please consider saving it and sharing it with your friends. It does help spread the good word. Who knows, maybe it'll even help me get my own star. And don't forget to follow me on the gram and the tube just in case, because who knows what's happening with this app. We also still have stickers and pins and bookmarks left if you want to proudly display your indoctrination. Good day, and may the occult be with you.